The Rush Hour with James Golden. Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Attention Ditto Heads. Attention Bo Scouts.
Goes by the pseudonym Bo Snerdley.
It's time for the Soul of Excellence.
He is a radio host here in New York.
The Rush Hour is on the air.
Rush.
Now here's James Golden.
By the way, Gavin Newsom, who is one of the candidates, I believe he took himself out of the running when he says he suffers from mental disability. And a reporter said it was terrible that I talked that way about somebody with mental disability. I said, I have no problem with it, but I don't want a person with mental disability to be my president. I mean, you don't want to have a person with mental disability being your president. And Gavin Newsom said that he can't read a speech. He can't do almost anything. And then he said he's as dumb as all the people in the room. And he got accused of being a racist, which was an amazing set. I thought it was the worst interview I've ever seen anybody give. He's actually a very stupid person. So I believe he's out of the running. I think that statement, that interview, he admitted that he's a stupid person. I don't want a stupid person being president, you know?
It's Thursday. That was a cabinet meeting today. That was one of the topics that came up in Donald Trump's cabinet meeting today, Gavin Newsom. And the president describing his dyslexia as a mental issue. Welcome to Bo Snerdley's Rush Hour, my friends. Fastest hour in American media. We have more from the Donald Trump cabinet meeting, and we will play it. Also, news from the Senate. There was a vote today. A big vote today about photo ID, just photo ID. And Democrats did what Democrats do. Tell you what, let's get started with Donald Trump. From the White House, live from the White House, it's President Donald Trump and his cabinet staff. So, let's just start at the top, Carlos. Oh, by the way, wait a minute. Before you do that, I must ask you a question, Carlos. Tonight's Thursday. Carlos. What are you doing after the show tonight?
So, the tournament is back, as people know. So, we are watching college basketball tonight.
You just did that. So, you're watching college.
Yeah, and I might have to change my plans tomorrow because I need to watch my alma mater, Iowa State Cyclones, play. And yeah.
That's the name of the team, the Cyclones?
Cyclones, yes. It's a cardinal bird, I think.
It's what?
Like a red and yellow bird, like a cardinal, I think.
The Cyclones.
That's what the mascot looks like.
You even know what the mascot looks like. Oh, boy. Okay, well, so it's a basketball night for you, college basketball, as the March Sadness games continue. Okay, let's start at the top with President Trump from the cabinet meeting, ladies and gentlemen, and he was discussing the shutdown that is still going on in all over the United States of America. Democrats continue to punish the American people so that they can show favor to their base. That would be the illegal immigrant population.
We're now on day 41 of the disgraceful Democrat shutdown of Mark Wayne's department. Congratulations. We came into a department that's shut down by the radical Democrats. But Democrats are really punishing the American people. I saw it today.
Yes, they are.
One of the shows where they were interviewing people at the airport, and they're all angry at the Democrats. They're saying they're actually angry at Schumer. I didn't think anyone knew his name. One woman said, that Schumer is disgraceful. He's a disgrace to our country. But they're angry at the Democrats. They know what's happening. But they're punishing the American people, including travelers at airports, all in the quest to return to open borders and give amnesty to illegal alien criminals. They want to give amnesty to some of the criminals that came into our country, just about all of them, actually, if you look at it. They love sanctuary cities, which is a sanctuary for criminals. They want to make sure they're taken care of. That's what we're fighting about. That's really what they're fighting. They don't talk about that, but that's what they're fighting about. They want to protect criminals. In many cases, 11,888 murders. Many of them, I will say, are gone now because of us. We got them out. But still have some left. Should have never happened. Should have never been allowed to come into our country. But we're not going to let it happen. We're not going to let the Democrats get away with this stuff. And people are wise to them. So they need to end the shutdown immediately, or we'll have to take some very drastic measures.
And supposedly drastic measures are coming. I don't know what he means. By the way, Carlos, your fan club continues to grow. The most famous broadcast engineer in the world just texted me and said, thank you for the record scratch. Carlos, you're a man after my own heart. It's just, yes, Mr. Mike. And that is a high compliment from the most, and he literally is the most famous broadcast engineer in this entire world.
Thank you to Mr. Mike. Much appreciated.
Okay. Now, the cabinet meeting continued. Folks, I don't know. We'll just play it. I'll remark afterwards. The President of the United States, of these United States of America, yes, also had some things to say about fraud. And boy, did he ever have some things to say about fraud.
And I hope JD's going to do a great job. He's in charge of it now with somebody who's very talented. But I think it's easy stuff. They say $19 billion, think of it, is missing. $19 billion. You know, if we would solve half of the fraud problem, Pam, in this country, we would have more than a balanced budget. We'd have a surplus. And in the case of Minnesota, it's very Somalia-oriented. Think of it. These people come from a crooked country, disgusting country, one of the worst countries in the world. Acknowledged to be one of the worst countries in the world. Some people say it's the worst. They have no money. They have nothing. They come to our country, low IQs, and they rob us blind. Stupid people. And they rob us blind because we have crooked politicians. And we have dirty cops. The Attorney General's a dirty cop. It's my opinion. It's only my opinion. And something should be done about him. Let's see what kind of job he can do.
He's talking about, I believe, Keith Ellison. Now, folks, as you know, I take issue with this just branding everybody with a broad brush. The whole thing. Everybody's garbage. Everybody. They're all this. They're all low IQ. No, they're not. And if low IQ people can come in to your nation and steal $19 billion, what does it say about the IQ of the people who put the billions of dollars out there with no checks and balances? Who really has the low IQ here? Because and I don't even think it's a matter of IQ. I think it's a matter of morals. If there was a moral IQ test, well, a whole lot of people would get caught up in that one. But we move on. By the way, I don't disagree with putting the checks and balances, in case anybody's wondering. I don't want anybody to misunderstand. I am all for getting to the bottom of this fraud business and rooting it all out. I am so happy the president said what he said as we continue from Cut 3, Carlos, from today's cabinet meeting, continue talking about fraud.
I saw something that the nursing home business and the daycare centers in particular, they went out and inspected them in Minnesota. and they didn't exist. They're knocking on the door. He happens to be a young man, Nick, nice young man. He's done a very good job. They're knocking on doors. It's like homes. And they're getting hundreds of thousands of that. They didn't exist. And in California, it's worse. It's even worse. And I spoke with Russell Vogt. I said, Russell, don't send them any money. He said, but we have a court order that we have to. Can you believe it? A judge. The judges are really hurting this country. Our judges, Justice Roberts doesn't like when I say it, but the judges are really hurting this country. And frankly, the justices, the Supreme Court, has really hurt our country, too.
Donald Trump does not mince words. He's talking about Nick Shirley, and let me just say take a moment to talk about that for very, very briefly. We are living in an age where we're watching amazing things happen in the mainstream media. Washington Post, they're having all kind of conniptions fits. They're laying off so many people over there. People are itching about Jeff Bezos and how much he should be doing more to put more money in. There's turmoil within the CBS organization. You know, they just cut CBS News Radio, something I was sad at, but more than that, with the incoming Paramount, perhaps, purchase of that corporate entity, people are concerned about CNN job losses. They're concerned about what is happening inside CBS, the changes there. You look at Washington Post, as I said, New York Times, all over print and electronic media, major things are happening. And you have a lot of reporters complaining. And a lot of these are high-priced reporters, too. I mean, these people are making decent money. But what do you have? You have a kid who's on the internet who has done more journalism than many of these mainstream reporters have done in years. He's walking the streets. He's checking what is listed from the government in terms of who they're giving out money to, and he's actually going there, knocking on doors, asking questions. People are annoyed, and he's finding and discovering fraud, what appears to be fraud like you cannot believe, all throughout California, Minnesota, everywhere else this kid goes. And there are others. Nick Shirley just happens to be making a name of himself. There are others that are doing this. So these people bemoan the fact that right-wing, they say, or alternative media are out doing their job. They say, don't believe them. These people don't have any credibility. It's disinformation. Yet they're out in the streets uncovering stuff and showing it to people on video. You see it with your own eyes. And one of the reasons that I believe that journalism is in such a turmoil right now is because the journalists haven't been doing journalism. They've been doing political activism. They've been doing political-oriented journalism instead of straight up, we're following the facts and this is where it leads. It'll be interesting to see what happens, but I think all the complaints about these new citizen journalists that are coming up, and some may take shortcuts, we don't know. They're probably really ticked that these people never went to journalism school. But you know what these people are doing? They're doing the job that the mainstream media didn't do. That's what made Rush Limbaugh a national figure, because he did the job that the entire rest of the mainstream press didn't do, which was telling the other side, explaining that there was more than one side to the American political story. And the same is happening in journalism. These journalists have failed, and now you have citizen journalists that are popping up doing the legwork and showing people what's going on in their country. Amazing. James Golden, Snerdley with you here, fast this hour in American media.
Rush.
This is The Rush Hour with James Golden.
Bo Snerdley.
The Rush Hour with James Golden. Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
James Golden, known popularly as Bo Snerdley.
This is The Rush Hour with James Golden.
Rush.
You know, folks, I haven't talked about the Savannah Guthrie case that much. I just haven't. It's in the news. I don't know what there is to say about it, except Savannah was interviewed on the Today Show. She was interviewed, and I think it was on her return, yeah. First interview with Hoda from the Today Show, and she said all she had to say that she's sorry, Mommy. She's sorry. I'm so sorry if it's me. I'm so sorry. She had asked her siblings if they thought that their mom was kidnapped because of her. And so she's apologizing. She broke down in tears. And I just felt so bad. I don't know Savannah Guthrie. I don't watch this show. But I don't know how you cannot feel for this entire family and for her having guilt over this. And I just hope that her friends and people close to her are not only giving all the comfort they can, but doing everything they can to help her understand that it is not her fault. And it is not because of her, not because of her. It is because there are people in this world who are intent upon doing evil, who are intent upon hurting other people, who are intent upon, and you see it all the time. I saw another story today about a 90-year-old woman, one of the Bond women, who was systematically robbed over the years by a group of people who targeted her, and that was in Italy, and they're tracking down the money. You see it every day. There's this force that operates in this world called evil, and it dwells inside some people's hearts, and they live their lives from that position. It is not the fault of the good that the evil do evil. And I hope that the Guthrie family finds some peace. This story, come on, folks, we all think it's not going to end well, but hope she finds some peace. We'll be right back.
The Rush Hour with James Golden. Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
James Golden, known popularly as Bo Snerdley.
This is The Rush Hour with James Golden.
Rush.
James Golden here, Snerdley, on Bo Snerdley's Rush Hour. Okay, so we have some more from the Trump cabinet meeting, but there's some other things I want to definitely get to as well. And one of those things was what happened at the Olympics. The IOC, the Olympic Governing Committee today, cut 18. Here's the Olympic president, Christy Coventry.
Today, we, the International Olympic Committee, have published a policy on the protection of the female category. I understand that this is a very sensitive topic. As a former athlete, I passionately believe in the rights of all Olympians to take part in fair competition. The policy that we have announced is based on science, and it has been led by medical experts with the best interests of athletes at its heart. The scientific evidence is very clear. Male chromosomes give performance advantages in sports that rely on strength, power, or endurance. At the Olympic Games, even the smallest margins can be the difference between victory and defeat. So it's absolutely clear that it would not be fair for biological males to compete in the female category. In addition, in some sports, it would simply not be safe. Every athlete must be treated with dignity and respect, and athletes will only need to be screened once in their lifetime. There must be clear education around the process, with counseling available alongside expert medical advice. The IOC recognizes the importance of widespread participation in grassroots and recreational sports programs and the impact that sport has in society. However, the Olympic Games has a focus on elite sport, and in elite sport we must ensure the fairness, safety, and integrity of all competitions within the Games. I know that there will be many questions, and the IOC will work with all of our stakeholders to address these over the coming months. Publication of the policy is just one step in the process. There will be much more information to come.
Okay, thank you, Christy. There is a bill that is happening in working its way through the legislature in New Hampshire that is related to this issue. A witness testified. It is SB, whatever it is, 522 or something like that. Anyway, here is a little bit of testimony taking place, the same subject, Cut 19, on a bill working its way through the New Hampshire legislature on this issue.
Hazel Kane. I'm testifying in opposition to Senate Bill 552. I think we just have to get something straight. We have to tell it like it is. Trans women are women. Some women are born with brown skin, some are born with light skin, some are born with green eyes, and some are born with blue eyes. Some have uteri, some have vulvas, some have XY chromosomes and penises. And I'm going to be quite frank with you, and I apologize for who I will offend. If you are a woman with a vulva and you are uncomfortable seeing a woman with a penis, too bad. You have to get over it. There are women, white women, who are uncomfortable being around brown women. We did that a century ago with segregation, with Jim Crow. People decided that because you had dark skin, you were more dangerous, you were more likely to commit violent crimes, and because of that, you had to be cast away. You couldn't be in the same restaurant as the white person. You couldn't be in the same bathroom or the locker room. You couldn't even drink from the same fountain. And we're in the same era right now. You would think we would learn something, but apparently we didn't. We are saying somehow that because statistically people with penises and XY chromosomes tend to be more aggressive because those are men, that somehow a transgender woman falls within those statistical norms. By definition, a transgender woman is not within those statistical norms. They are going out of their way to take medications to reduce libido and aggression. They are altering their bodies to be incapable of penetrating a person. They are clearly not of the category that should be prohibited from these bathrooms. Some people are going to be uncomfortable. We cannot let their implicit biases, their irrational fears, their own trauma history take away rights that other people are entitled to under the law. We live in a free society, and that's
okay. I think we've got the gist. And so, those of you women with vulvas and shouldn't feel comfortable around women that don't have vulvas, but women that have penises, and that was the message there that I hope that you take to heart or to your vulva. Anyway, moving on, ladies and gentlemen, other things in the news. There are some news stories that I want to get to. Not just, yes. We got one with She Goes First. Gazem Newsom dances around Kamala. She Goes First. It's an Axios story. He also says he has a relationship. I've also known my relationship to that relationship. When she goes first. That's what Gavin Newsom says about Kamala. So if she goes first. So I guess if she wants to be president, she goes first. Or I don't know whether you would include the last one, but Gavin says that when somebody has to go, she goes first. Okay. I don't know whether you're aware of this, but over at the UN, they are passing a resolution about reparations, slavery reparations. The UN General Assembly voted yesterday, or they brought up a resolution declaring that trafficking of enslaved Africans was the gravest crime against humanity. They are calling for reparations to be widely welcomed across Africa and among advocates of restorative justice and for slave descendants. About 12 million Africans were forcefully taken by European nations from the 16th to the 19th century and enslaved on plantations that built wealth at the price of misery. And there's a long story about the UN here. the resolution is non-binding, but there's an effort to ensure that some reparations are being made. Now, over in the House of Representatives, there is a public hearing that is going to be held. The House Ethics Committee, and I say that laughingly, House Ethics in the same sentence, but the House Ethics Committee is holding a rare public hearing today into alleged ethics violations committed by Democrat Representative Sheila Cherfilus-McCormick of Florida. She's a two-term congresswoman, happens to be an African-American woman, facing numerous ethics charges, including failing to follow campaign finance laws, commingling campaign, personal, and business funds, and using her position as a congresswoman to benefit her allies. She is also, ladies and gentlemen, facing charges for allegedly stealing $5 million in COVID-19 disaster relief funds. Over 2 years it took. Committee investigators say they found substantial evidence that Cherfilus-McCormick committed these deeds, these dastardly deeds that are alleged in the federal indictment. She says, "Oh, I didn't do anything wrong." What, me? You've got the wrong person. The hearing could carry significant political repercussions because some Republicans, damn them, are threatening to expel Cherfilus-McCormick from the House of Representatives. Both parties, you see, are vying for the high ethical ground before November elections. She represents a very heavy Democrat district in southeastern Florida. Not guilty is what her plea is. She says it's a baseless, unjust, sham indictment. She didn't say racist yet. We're waiting for that one. Now, this is, ladies and gentlemen, where the story gets a little bit dicey for me. I want to just share a few thoughts with you about this. The committee's work, the Ethics Committee, rarely takes place in the open. It's been more than 15 years since a sitting member of the House of Representatives faced a public hearing. And that was back in 2010, and I remember it. It was the ethics trial of Representative Charles Rangel from New York, from Harlem. Charlie Rangel. I like Charlie Rangel. Charlie Rangel was a really good guy. He was a guy. Charlie Rangel, on charges related to his personal finances. The panel also held a public hearing for allegations against Representative Maxine Waters of California, Auntie Maxie, that same year, but they failed to find sufficient evidence to prove anything. So now we have the third public hearing. And I just have a simple question. Are only black Congress people crooks? Because for these little public hearings, you got Charlie Rangel, black guy. You got Maxine Waters, Auntie Maxie's. And then you got this Cherfilus-McCormick, who's African-American. So you have the Ethics Committee 3 different times. They pop up, and the Congress people are black. Now, he's playing the race card. No, I'm not. I'm asking a question. Is it coincidence? Because I want to know, we all have heard the stories of Nancy Pelosi and her famous stock stuff. We all have heard the stories about how the Congress has been hiding for years all the money that they've paid out in sexual harassment money. Do we think that all of the people who came in poor to Congress and leave millionaires, are they all just doing everything? Why are the only 3 public hearings that have been held on ethics? I'm asking, because this doesn't make sense to me. They got rid of Santos. They didn't even do a public one for Santos. And by the way, if Cherfilus, whatever her name, McCormick, is found to have done all this stuff, are they going to give her the same treatment they gave Santos and get rid of her? One would say. But am I wrong here? They say it's so rare. Well, if it's so rare, why the only time they do it is with black Congress people? Can't you spread it around? Come on now. I know that okay, I made my point. Why just them? Look, there is so much, we know there is so much going on that's ethically not correct in Congress. Spread it out. By the way, if you live in New Jersey, you'll be glad to know that this Mickey, how do you pronounce her name? Sherrill there, the governor. She sounds like she's a member of the Shirelles. But actually, I like the Shirelles. The Shirelles were a great singing group, the Shirelles. This Mickey Sherrill. She's another one. She signed an immigration bill into law yesterday that limits when the local and state police in New Jersey can help federal immigration authorities. Democrats are doing all they can to protect their number one interest group, the illegals. Thank you, Debbie. Debbie answered me. I'm right to question it. Thank you. I mean, I'm not a liberal. I don't even, Auntie Maxie. I mean, I like Charlie Rangel personally, but he was a rank and file. I did. I liked Charlie Rangel. I liked listening to Charlie Rangel talk. Charlie Rangel got busted, boy. He was in, they did cold journalism on Charlie. They caught Charlie down there, and while he was supposed to be somewhere, they caught him down there sunning himself in the Dominican Republic at some joint that he had money supposedly stashed at. And they went all up and down through his finances. Why don't they do this for the rest of these Congress people? How come we haven't seen the investigation into Nancy Pelosi and where she made her bread? How come we never saw about Harry Reid and his crazy land deals? And you can go through Congress and find so many of them that all of a sudden become rich. Why are we only having public hearings when it's 3 black ones? And I don't care whether they're all black Democrats. Why are we only getting the public hearings for the black ones? Spread it around. Make a rainbow. I can see a rainbow. Let's go to a break. Yeah, that was a song by the Dells, Carlos. I can see a rainbow. Love is blue. James Golden, Snerdley, fastest hour in American media. Don't go away.
Rush. This is the Rush Hour with James Golden.
Bo Snerdley.
The Rush Hour with James Golden. Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
It's the Rush Hour with James Golden.
Goes by the pseudonym Bo Snerdley.
Rush.
Now, here's James Golden.
There was a disgusting display in Philadelphia. For every U.S. soldier that returns home in a casket, we cheer. said one of these people at one of these liberal rallies that was held outside of Philadelphia City Hall. Disgusting. Speaking of Philly, the sound of Philadelphia. We had some in Philadelphia yesterday. In fact, Harold Melvin was mentioned, Harold Melvin in the Blue Notes. Teddy was the drummer for Harold Melvin in the Blue Notes and later stepped up and became lead singer, and it became Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes featuring Teddy Pendergrass. And then Teddy Pendergrass went solo and exploded. In 1950, he was born on this day. Teddy Pendergrass, soul singer. One-time member of Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes, passed away in 2012. He was just 59 years old. Of course, he had been paralyzed from a car accident and still recorded for some years. And I'll tell you, I'm just a huge fan. A huge, huge fan of the teddy bear, Teddy Pendergrass. Happy heavenly birthday, Teddy. May God bless, protect each and every single one of you, your families, your loved ones. Love and gratitude, my friends, for you being here with me, allowing me to be here with you. God willing, we're back tomorrow for the It's Already Friday edition of Bo Snerdley's Rush Hour. Until then, in the meantime and in between time, I bid you adieu. Bye.
Thanks for listening to Bo Snerdley's Rush Hour. You can hear Bo Snerdley's Rush Hour weekdays at 4 on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?